Today I am going to share with you how I make my face masks. Now previously I shared a video and I was doing the Olson pattern. Well, now I use my Cricut design space pattern. I really like cutting out the material with my maker, and then I have a serger which I got a little while back, and serging has made all the difference in the world. I can just whip through these masks really quickly. So I just wanted to share with you how I am making my mask these days. Right now you can get a Baby Lock Celebrate serger for about $1,000. So that's what I got, and I've been very pleased with it. Like I said, I cut out my masks with my Cricut Maker, and I get 2 smaller pieces and then 2 larger pieces. And I'm going to show you on my serger what I do with these. And the first thing I do is the edge of the mask that's straight, I take it through the serger. And I feed them one right after the other. Then I cut at the edge of the mask, and so I've got this string of masks. I cut them apart, and so now this edge is finished. I need to cut that long string off. So if you don't have a serger, this edge you would fold over and you would hem it, or essentially just, put a seam through it so the raw edge is not exposed. But with a serger, you can just serge it, and there you go. So then I put the pieces together so it goes right sides together. These are the 2 larger pieces. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch along the center seam, the rounded center seam. And I found that if I put this top part first, which is a more curved seam that's needed, I get better results. So I put it in here in the serger under the foot, and then go. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the inside pieces. So right sides together and stitch these 2 together. Now I've got the front, which is here. So you've got the front. I've got the inside. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the front and the inside, and I'm going to put them right sides together. I'm going to match up my seams, fold them over, line this up, and then serge all along this edge.
I think pinker could help, so I can't.
Now I'm going to slow down
Nice.
and line up my material. And I'm actually going to get a little closer. I'm going to cut off a little more than I normally would, because this mask is for my husband, and he said this part isn't quite tight enough. I've got the two pieces, the front and the inside, right sides together. I've got one of my seams done, and now again I'm going to do like I did with the other side. I'm going to match my seams, kind of nest them together, match this up, and actually I like to start on the side where the longer piece and the shorter piece, I can see both. And again, I'm going to come under here. When I come to my seams, I'm going to slow down a little bit so that I can make sure I don't cause one to fold up and the other to fold up the same way. And here we go. Now I have this inside out. Now, I am almost done. But there is something else that I want to do before I turn it right side out and add the elastic. So what I think makes a really big difference is a pleat on the shorter side of the fabric that goes on your face. I leave it inside out, I leave the mask inside out, and I put a pleat. So here are your longer pieces. My pleat is actually going to go on the shorter side. So I'm going to put this under my needle. I just use the edge of the foot as the guide. I start back here, put my foot down, and I actually kind of turn this on an angle because I am going to sew on an angle and just make a pleat. I don't want it to be too tight, just a little. So I sew a little, and then I'm going to go backwards to back tack, and then go forward. And there's nothing really particularly pretty about it. I just want to get a little more snug against your face on the back part, and I do this on both sides. So you pull it, I match the two longer pieces and the two shorter pieces, and then where this is halfway folded, then I put it under my foot. And there you've got a pleat. Now to finish them up, I turn them right side out. I kind of pull here, get it kind of formed the way it's going to fit the face. And then here I've got this opening where my elastic is going to go. So I take my piece of elastic and I lay it down. I put it here. I bring it in and I just meet these two pieces of elastic here. I don't sew them or tack it. Then I fold over the end, and I've got a nice little pocket for my elastic. I'm gonna fold that under a little bit, just kind of mess with it a little bit to get it into place. And I want to make sure that this is pulled out so that I don't sew this part here and here, which, you know, I have done many times. Now for this, I put it on a zigzag stitch because I want the needle to hit the elastic so that it's secure. So I go forward, then I'm going to go backwards to back tack it, go back forward, and that piece of elastic is on there. And I cut this little string, and then I'll lift this up and make sure that this elastic is secure. And if you pull it, it is. So one more time, I open it up, I lay down my elastic, fold it over so that the two ends meet. I don't want them overlapping. Then I fold over the material, making sure that I don't move the elastic because I want it to stay flat. And put it under the needle. Zigzag stitch. I hold it for a minute, not a minute, I hold it for a few seconds so I don't have to back tack. I just hold it in place so that it kind of stitches over itself. And this mask is done. Now, if you don't have a serger, you can still make these masks. So what you're going to do is you are going to stitch a little hem on this exposed edge instead of using your serger. And I'm going to use a 1/4 inch just because that's what I'm used to doing. Put my foot down, put my needle down, okay, and I'm just going to hold this down. Now, when we do quilting, you do piecing, you do chain stitching. So essentially, I'm going to chain stitch, but I'm going to chain stitch seam. I'm going to press the foot down. And you're going to do this little hem on all 4 pieces because you don't want that exposed. Alright, so now you've got little hems on all the pieces of your face mask. Now we want to sew our pieces together. So you match right sides together and line them up. Okay, I'm going to go back to a straight stitch. So I'm going to start just like I did with the serger on the more dramatic part of the curve. And you're kind of at an angle when you do that. And I'm just going to do 1/4 inch. It's almost like sewing a circle. You kind of just put some pressure here and it kind of just feeds itself around. And then I'm going to back tack. And then it's kind of like chain piecing. I'm just going to go ahead and start this one right here. Okay. And I should have back tacked, so I'm going to back tack here. Okay, and I'm going to just put pressure here and it's going to kind of wing around. I don't know how to describe it. Just hold tight here. Okay, I'm going to back tack. Okay, and trim in between your pieces. So, just like with a serger, you've got your front, which is here. Same thing, no different. You've got your inside. So here, I'm going to open this and I'm going to kind of leave the front piece the way I had it. I'm going to match seams here, and I'm going to put one seam one way and one seam the other, just the same way I did with the serger. So it's just like piecing and quilting. You're matching seams, only if they don't match perfectly once you sew them, it is really okay. Although I have that same attitude with quilting, which, you know, probably isn't the right attitude to have. Okay, I'm going to use my 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to hold my material in place. You can clip it or you can pin it. I'm going to line everything up, make sure it all looks okay. Kind of slow down to get around the corner. And I'm not going to back tack because I'm going to fold this over anyway, so it's not going to matter. All right, so now I've got the first seam in place. So if I were to open this up, this is all seamed together, all stitched together. So I'm going to do the same thing I do with the serger. I'm going to match my seams. I want to fold this seam is folded to the right, so I want to fold the bottom seam the same way. So I'm going to kind of nest these seams together. This side goes on the right, that side goes on the left. Match up. I'm going to flip it over so that I see the front and it's not hidden, so I have better control over my stitching. I'll line these up. Okay, and here we go. Okay, so same concept, just not with the serger. Also, same concept. I'm going to pull this open while it's still inside out, and I want to sew a little dart right here. Put it down. Got my 1/4 inch seam going on there. Go forward, back. So I've got a dart right there. So it's just a little more snug on the inside. Same thing on the other side. From that point on, it's exactly the same. You're going to open it up. Kind of pull your seams out. Make it look like it's going to look when someone's wearing it. Okay. You're going to take your elastic, lay it down flat, spread this out, bring this piece over, bring this piece over, match them. So you've got these two pieces over the edge. Then you're going to fold this fabric over the flat piece of elastic and keep it flat. You don't want to give it a chance to flip over on you. We're going to do a zigzag stitch here, whereas we've been doing a straight stitch on the rest. So I hold it, let it go a little, here it goes. Then I'm going to go backwards, go forwards, and that elastic is done. And then I've got this little tail here that I will clip. Flip it over. Make sure that if you see elastic, you just see a little bitty bit, not a lot. Pull it, and it's going to flip. And there you've got a nice sturdy piece of elastic. Do the same thing on the other side. Open it up. I hope this video was helpful for you. I know a lot of people are making masks right now, and if you've got a sewing machine and some material, you should be able to make your own masks. In my opinion, I think we're going to be wearing masks for a little while, and I have decided that I'm just going to embrace it and find fun fabric and make my masks out of that and wear them when I go out and when I need to wear them. If you have a sewing machine and you are either near a fabric store or you can order online, you can get your own fabric. You don't have to use the Cricut Maker or any other machine to cut out your fabric. You can go to some links that I'll include below where you can print off a pattern, cut it out yourself, and if you have a serger, you can use your serger to stitch it. If you have a sewing machine, you can use your sewing machine to stitch it. And the masks that you make are going to be more fun, number one. And number two, you can learn exactly how to make that mask to fit your face so that it's the most comfortable. There are also some adjustable earpieces that you can get on Amazon. I will link those below. A friend of mine, Diane, is going to let me use some of those that she ordered, and I'm going to see how I like those. And she's been putting them in her masks today, as a matter of fact. So that is also another option if you don't want the elastic, or you can't find any elastic, because that is real. The struggle is real. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Share with your friends. And goodbye until next time.